Sandy, I'm ready. Ready to go. Okay, so what you're going to do is, let's wait until she makes her announcements. She's coming. Oh, the lights are going to come off. This is going to be tough. This is going to be real tough.
No, definitely not that.
We're just going to make our announcements. It's recording, so just...
All right. Well, before we start the second set, I want to just make a couple of coffee house announcements. Next Friday, you could be up on stage at our twice-a-month open mic. You're welcome to do music or poetry or magic tricks or whatever you have in your bag of tricks. And that starts at 8 o'clock. Then Saturday, I'm actually going to be splitting a show with Andrew Calhoun from Chicago, who's one of my heroes. So I hope to see some of you there. And then Sunday is our monthly Living Activism Night, which is a benefit for the Young Women's Institute for Global Studies. And the featured entertainers that night will be Dangerous Folk, a trio that does a lot of sing-along kind of songs from the 60s. So that'll be fun. And don't forget, you can always see our schedule at our website, the-coffee-house.com, or you can sign up out there to get on our mailing list either via email or to get the paper calendar. And the Coffee House has been here since 1967 due to the work of many, many, many volunteers over the years, including Jerry and Mary, who are our volunteers tonight. How about a hand for them? Okay, and Dave Fenner, who's our volunteer booking agent. And Paul, our photographer, right? So if you want to join our volunteer team, you can talk to any one of us about that. And now we're going to get back to the show, and let's have a warm coffee house welcome for Sid Yiddish.
Okay, I need some help out there. So what I want you to do on this one, including all the folks out there getting their coffee and tea and sitting at the table out there, I see you all. I want you to hold out your arms and flap them. Hold out your arms and flap. Even you, if you would, the fella in the corner, if you'd like to. Flap your arms. I want you to flap your arms. This is the way you get your exercise, through me. This is called The Greatest Revolution in Birdland, and it's for my friend Joby Hughes, and he's a student at Columbia in New York. Once upon a dream ago, I was a jailed canary bird. Never thought much about flying. Just laying eggs and strutting in line with all those other feather brains. One day I heard a young finch's voice, so beautiful, so pure, singing a tune I ain't never heard before. So I asked this finch where it learned that tune, and the finch showed me note for note, line for line. I knew something was different as I felt myself cooing inside. Still, I had this feeling I hadn't felt in years. So I spread my wings clumsily and began to fly around my cage, almost kind of funny at first. Then I got back onto the perch, directly into the line of fire, much to the chagrin of the prison raven's demonic desire. It was then that I began to sing, and sing loud and clear, and sung a song so dear and meaningful that it rattled the rest of those caged birds. And so began the greatest revolution in birdland that ever ceased to be. And this is where I need your help. And out of their cages they flew, they strutted, shook a tail feather or two, and tweetered and twerped and cheeped and chirped. And now I fly and strut and sing on my own. I look around again. I looked around again to thank that young finch, but it was already gone, flown the coop. I was glad to have listened, knowing now that I can bail myself out of my nest in a pinch. Godspeed, young finch. Godspeed. Thank you. This one I wrote for, there's this restaurant I go to when I go visit my parents in Scottsdale, Arizona. I know, Scottsdale. It's a long way from Milwaukee. And they, actually this happened a couple of weeks ago. They bombed, there was somebody, they don't know who it was, but they bombed his place. And this is the second time in 4 years. And so this is for him. It's called They Threw a Bomb, and it's for Dickie Malone. They threw a bomb to shoot the man down. They threw a bomb to keep the man quiet. They threw a bomb to keep the man from telling what it is that he knows. They threw a bomb to keep the man from straying within. They threw a bomb thinking it would keep the man on needles and pins. They threw a bomb to keep the man from staying calm. They threw a bomb just so they could be cool. They threw a bomb. Oh, not so cool, 'cause the man lives on, the man survives, and will rebuild upon himself once again. They threw a bomb. They threw a bomb. They threw a bomb. They threw a bomb. Thank you.
What kind of place is it? Why do they bomb it? Why did they bomb it?
It's a hot dog joint.
Oh, there you go.
Now this one, I've always read this in Illinois, so and they seem to like it there. And I've read it in Portland, Oregon. They seem to like it there. And I've read it in San Francisco, and they seem to like it there. And I've even read this in New York, and they seem to like it there. And I think I've even read it in Windsor, Canada, and they seem to like it there. But I've never read this in Wisconsin. And it's about one of your most treasured places in the whole wide world. You know, Wes kind of gets nervous when I do this one, even to do this one. This one is a parody of Edgar Allan Poe's The Bells. It's called The Dells. Hear the splash of water on the dells, ugly dells. What a sight of homeliness their ugliness foretells. How they winkle, winkle, winkle in the pale Wisconsin night. All the men seem to sprinkle with a urinary flight. Keeping pine, pine, pine with a bunch of tissue line. From the outhouse to the bathhouse that so wonderfully smells. In the dells, 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 dells. From the spring and the sprinkling on the dells. Here are the molding of the dells, iron dells. What a world of water parks their monopoly compels, for all the boats that float from the $50 park tickets in our coats, and the people sit and drone on their suburban speaker phones, and the tolling, tolling, tolling feels a memento mori in the bank rolling from the robbing and the shish kebabbing of the melancholy dells. Oh, the dells, 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 dells. Oh, the ozoning and the rezoning of the dells. Hear the robots clanging round the dells, brazen dells. What a tall tale of useful scrap metal now old Tommy Bartlett tells. Much too mummified to speak. Oh, his robots can only squeak, for all eardrums are blown when those crazy robots screech like saxophones. Roaming faster, faster, faster like a blending mix master, in an amorous attempt to keep the idea from becoming verklempt. With the dells, 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 with the flim-flammering and the she-banging of the dells. Here the noisy traffic, Wisconsin dells, golden dells. What a world of tourism their financial status foretells. Through the circus parades in the night, how the cash registers ring out their profit margin delight. Through the dollars and the credit cards and the cheese concoctions that taste like vomit a la lard. How it smells, how it sells, on the future how it gels. From the stringing and the bringing of the tourist to the dells. To the dells, 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 of the reaming and the scheming of the dells. Thank you.
What the dell?
You know, I'm wondering here. Does anybody know the score for the Brewer game, Brewers and Phillies?
No.
No? Were they winning last time?
Yes.
Yeah.
Top of the 6, 3-0 or 3-1 Milwaukee.
Wow, that's amazing for Milwaukee.
We're all very impressed.
It's gonna matter in 10 years. Not home with you?
Yeah, well, better than the Cubs, right? Better than the Cubs. This is better than the White Sox. Knock on Formica. This is a trilogy, or a trio of baseball poems that I've written. This first one is about the... I don't watch TV, I listen to the radio, so this is about my boyhood recollections of listening to radio and baseball radio in Chicago. It's called When Color Meant Color. Listening to the Cubs-Padre game on the radio the other night, I fell asleep in the midst of the fourth. It happens a lot to me, but I'm not sure why. Perhaps it's the broadcast itself that seems to have a shelf life of 3 innings before it goes stale. Oh man, take me back to the days of the radio broadcast team of Vince Lloyd and Lou Boudreau and good old announcer, Mr. Back, hey, hey! Jack Brickhouse in the latter half of the 6th, and drunk as punk Harry Carey near the end of the 8th. That is, when color meant color, and insults were good, and if a name was incorrectly mispronounced, no apologies were forthright or swift, and mistakes in commercials meant laughter and fun, and broadcasters just did their jobs with intelligence. And baseball games were just good old-fashioned baseball games you tuned into on your AM transistor mid-afternoon or late at night. And there was no such thing back then as political correctness.
Yay!
Now we got this, last year it was a great scandal, Barry Bonds. I know he broke the record, but he should actually have it rescinded and sent to prison for taking steroids. That's just my opinion. So this poem is about him, and it's called Seventh Inning Stench. And I've dedicated this to Babe Ruth, Hank Aaron, of course, Barry Steroid Bonds. Last call for alcohol. Last call for your nation at bat. It was never that. It was the last great league in Irish town where he never forgets. The crack of the bat feels like the spit of his fame just blowing in the breeze, like the crumbled skeleton staring at the door with its head between its knees. Old skeleton knows where it's going night after night after night. To wash its hands of curses, sins of the past 80 years, look in the mirror and cry. For it's the soul of the league that's on trial. No longer can a skeleton smile, just shake like those pep pills and drugs and business that now sweeps it under the rug, while the gad of the thug is shoved into the back of the big boss who pushes aside the integrity of the game for payoffs and thrills. The record is broken, the record is cast. The crowd doesn't say much when the black shadow is cast into stone. the graveyard in the hall. He cast the first shadow, so he did fall. The crowd remains silent, the crowd still remains. Old skeleton washes up in a sea of notoriety, like the spit of his fame. Thank you. Now, most people think this might be about Brett Favre, but it's not. This is called Going Out a Winner. They send me to the showers early because I'm not good enough. Sit me down on the bench and give me a good scolding. I feel as if my future is folding, but I don't mind, because I feel as I've worked harder at playing the game than anyone who's ever played in my position. Still, they tell me it's not enough. I still miss fly balls and occasional grounders, too. They tell me my throwing arm isn't what it used to be when firing from center field to tag the runner out at home. And it's not that I'm tired or old or have a reoccurring injury. It's just that I'm tired of the abuse that's heaped on top of me game after game after game by managers and coaches who read the playbooks all wrong, and the owners that only want runs and hits and for the fans to keep on packing the place. Perhaps this is the last inning for me. Perhaps it's time to retire, but it won't matter. I'll still go out a winner. Thank you. Okay, this is the, hang on.
You need help?
Chug, chug, chug. Oh.
Yeah, somebody's beeper's going off.
You're due at the hospital, aren't you, Doc?
This is the point of the set that everybody seems to like. This is the throat singing set. I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna do 2. I might do 3. We'll see. Did these in Chicago last week at the Green Mill. We performed at the Green Mill. You know, the place where Al Capone or Rat-a-tat-tat's from. Everybody in Europe still thinks he's living.